fellow Jedi. I'm Mike, and you're watching Force Within TV. And today we're going to talk about the Star Wars Thrawn novel. This is going to be a book review and discussion. So in the beginning here, I'm just going to get right into talking about some of the characters. So let's dive right in. First up, let's talk about Thrawn. Now Thrawn, I thought Timothy Zahn did a great job of making him a very likable character. When we see him in Star Wars Rebels, in the latest trailer, he's referred to as this great evil. But Zahn actually, as Thrawn, his main character, his protagonist, he's able to show us, that he's a likable villain. Even though he is working for the Empire, he has to overcome obstacles of racism. He has certain flaws. He's not very good at navigating the Coruscant politics, right, or the politics of the Empire. And, overall, by the end of the novel, I found myself really rooting for him. And even though he's going up against rebels, and I'm definitely a big fan of, the Rebel Alliance, I was rooting for Thrawn. I wanted Thrawn to win. So let's talk about some of the other characters, and as I do, I'll refer back to Thrawn and this idea of him being more likable. Okay, so the first one here is Arinda Pryce. Arinda Pryce? I'm sorry, I might be mispronouncing that. So Pryce is Governor Pryce. We see her in the third season of Star Wars Rebels. And, at first I found it really annoying that we were following this character at all. The first couple chapters really drew me in, and I was so into Thrawn and wanted to learn more about him. And, we kept slipping away throughout the book to Arinda Pryce. And her story did get progressively better, but it was sort of that downtime that I sort of had to get through so that I could get back to Thrawn. And in the end, I completely understand now why Timothy Zahn included her. She was set up as a big contrast to Thrawn, who was, about duty and justice. She, like many of the other admirals, was power hungry. She was, a backstabbing politician, and she was willing to do whatever it took. And in the end, she does something absolutely atrocious and gets away with it, and it really contrasts the approach that Thrawn takes to these situations and hers, and puts him in a very, a preferable light, so that we like Thrawn even more. So I think that's the role of that character, Governor Pryce, is to make Thrawn actually look good, right? Even though he is a admiral, a grand admiral by the end, he's fighting for this evil empire. He is seen as somebody who is, a warrior, is into justice. He wants to limit casualties, those sort of things. But, Governor Pryce is power at all costs, complete ego driven, right? So let's talk also about Eli Vanto. Now this is Thrawn's assistant or aide in the Navy from the very beginning. He's a translator for Thrawn, a very likable character, comes from the Outer Rim, it was the Outer Rim or the outlying areas, I forget exactly. And so he has to overcome this sort of racism with Thrawn a bit because, they're at the Royal Academy, the Officers Academy on Coruscant in the very beginning. And, they have to work together to get through that situation because a lot of the officers there and training cadets, look down their nose at them and come from very high-ranking families, very powerful families on Coruscant. So it was a very likable character, and he's sort of a point of view character that lets us see Thrawn and really see his brilliance, right? Through Eli's eyes. He also reminds me of John Watson, right? If Thrawn is Sherlock, and he surely is, because he's such an amazing, he's so amazing at putting different pieces, little fine details together, right, and deducing what's going to happen from a certain situation, like when he is looking at artwork of a specific culture and trying to anticipate how they will react. And so Eli is sort of his John Watson, right? He keeps him grounded, he tries to protect him, but also we get to see through his eyes Thrawn's true brilliance. Okay, number 4, the last, second last character actually I want to talk about is Wolf Yularen. Now, Wolf Yularen has been seen on Rebels. He's been seen in the Clone Wars. He was actually on the Death Star in A New Hope. So really rich character here. And it was awesome to get to know him a little more, because we've only seen him in little bits here and there. And, he is really one of the good guys in the Empire, right? He is all about duty. He is all about justice. And he is one of those allies that allow Thrawn to ascend through the different ranks in the Imperial Navy, because he recognizes in Thrawn that he is a true warrior, right? And he does, he does have that sense of duty and justice. He's not just all ego, right? Like many of the other higher ranking Navy officers are. Not to mention, he can recognize that Thrawn is just a brilliant strategist and wants him in the Navy. So it was very interesting. It was good to see Wolf. Like I said, he really makes Thrawn, him teaming up with Thrawn, helping Thrawn, really makes both of them look like sort of the good guys within the Imperial Navy, which we know is a horrible faction overall. So that brings me to the antagonist, which is Night Swan. Now, this is a really brilliant antagonist, someone who can really match Thrawn in his, his unbelievable mind, and is able to get, the better of Thrawn in a couple situations. So the great thing about Thrawn, for all of his brilliance, he does have his flaws, and I know I mentioned this earlier. With the politics in particular, he really had a hard time navigating that in the social situations. Even his communication in basic comes off a little rough at times as well. But against Night Swan, he wasn't victorious all the time. So a flawed character, something I really enjoy seeing as well. So, personally, I love seeing, just moving on from the characters now, I really love seeing the combat situations throughout Thrawn's progression through the Navy. Very cool to see that. That personally, for me, that makes the book better than some of the others, which dwell more in the realm of politics. I'm a big action guy. Lords of the Sith is my favorite canon book by far. And I felt that overall this novel gave me enough action. There were some slow parts, but it gave me enough action to keep me really interested. And by the end, I was just, so into seeing how, what was going to happen to Thrawn. Obviously, we kind of know where he's going in Star Wars Rebels, but how that was going to play out and resolve. So I highly recommend that you check out this book. I'll have a link down in the description to Amazon if you'd like to support the channel. If not, support a local bookstore or order it wherever you'd like. But highly recommend this book. Check it out. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Please consider subscribing, checking out my Jedi Train Like a Jedi series. Maybe check out a recent video. Or down in the video description, you will find several links to my website, including a table of contents of all the Train Like a Jedi series.